always felt drawn to stories. When done well, they can be more than just escapism. They can teach you something about life from people with different experiences. They can reflect on common wider human issues that are hard to really explain in ways that academic or factual discussions might not capture. Stories have this unique ability to tap into our emotions, allowing us to empathize and understand perspectives that differ from our own or reflect our similar experiences in ways we never truly understood. They can serve as a mirror reflecting the complexities of human nature, morality, and the intricate map of relationships. Basically, what I'm trying to say is stories can connect us to the vast world of the human experience, revealing our shared struggles, joys, and the crazy, confusing beauty of our shared journey through life and eventual death. Hello everyone, today is going to be a bit more of a casual video. It's going to be more me explaining or kind of going through something that I watched that really affected me. I found this animation by chance. I was kind of scrolling through GKid's website. It's a company that distributes very, very good animations. It's very hard to go wrong with GKids. So I was scrolling through that and I saw something called Genius Party, and the image stood out to me, the cool art style. And what I found out was that Genius Party wasn't one solid film or animation. It was an anthology series of different stories. From the intro, it was super weird. There wasn't a really lot of messaging. It was just each episode was basically a different art style. They were all very wacky and weird, and the writing in some areas was straightforward and simple, and in some areas just plain nonsensical and convoluted. But all this changed when I came to the second last episode of this anthology series called Happy Machine by Masaki Yuasa. I 100% didn't say this correctly, but let's just go with that. From the outlook, this is also very outrageous. It kind of makes no sense. The art style is beautiful, but the writing is wacky. There's no dialogue. It's just grunts from this baby as he goes through this traumatic experience, as you can see here. But then once all the scenes started coming together, especially with the ending, I got a feeling that I didn't get from the others. So by the time I finished this animation, I kind of knew I needed to watch it a few more times. And after watching it a few more times, the whole message kind of clicked. And yeah, that's why I really had to talk about it. The beginning looks quite bright and happy and carefree. We see this baby, he's reaching out to some toys that are meant to distract babies, and it all seems quite idyllic and quite, happy. But then after you're given these few shots showing how happy and how nice the surroundings are, we are shown a clock that goes to 0, which you might think, okay, that doesn't really mean anything. But when you see what happens next with his mother and the subsequent happenings after that, then you kind of understand what the film is trying to say. So basically the clock goes to 0, he runs to his mother for attention, and his mother looks fake. She looks almost like she's not there, she's just presented as there. And when he reaches for affection, she deflates, she's not real. And then there's a very weird bit where he reaches and he pulls out her breast, which, big no-no, astaghfirullah, haram. As a Muslim man, I will be blurring this out. And he tries to take a drink and it just, obviously nothing comes out. It's fake. It's not a real mother. And then once he realizes his mother is fake, it's almost like everything else starts falling apart. He runs towards a shelf, which is, like I said, the surroundings are full of nice toys, very happy. But when he reaches for one of the toys or one of the ornaments on the shelf, he realizes that the shelf and everything else is just fake. It's a wall, it's cardboard, it's not real. When he realized that not only his mother is fake, everything else is fake. All these nice toys, his whole surrounding, everything is just paintings on the wall. Everything else starts falling apart, and he rushes to put on a mask, which we'll get back to that later. He puts on the mask and then he is sucked out of this safe childhood environment, and he is spat out into this alien landscape. So now let me get to the initial analysis that I can give you based off what you've seen of these scenes. The initial scenes portray a childhood that is fake, that is not nourishing, it's not real. Although from the outside it looks like he has an idyllic, happy childhood, there's no substance, it's not real. It's not what he needs. When he goes to his mother for the attention and the nurturing that he actually seeks, she's not there, she's distant. This could also reflect those situations where the parent is there, he or she is providing for the child, but that's not all that they need. They need the presence of the mother and the father to impart the experiences that they lack or that they need to prep them for the world outside. Case in point, when he actually reaches for the mother's breast and tries to get nutritious food from her, and that's not what he gets. He just gets a representation of his idyllic surroundings and of the mother. It's when you look at it initially, you're like, oh, this is a nice environment that I would like a child to be in. But when you actually confront it, it doesn't stand up, it doesn't hold up, it's not real. And to explain the clock going all the way down to 0, this is when time is up. The parents don't need to look after the child anymore. His training for what's out there is done. This is why after the clock goes to 0, all this happiness that is happening in the first few scenes or the first few shots all gets shown to be useless. It wasn't real. When he puts on the mask, because of what happened in the scenes and because of what I'm going to explain later, the mask basically symbolizes him putting on the mask of adulthood. He's not ready, he's clearly still a child, but he has no choice but to go into this alien landscape as an adult. I am an adult now. This is probably relatable for most of us nowadays, where we are now 18, we are now 20, we are now 23, 24, 25, 26. We still don't feel ready for the challenges of adulthood. So basically that's what I interpret, him hurriedly putting on the mask as he gets sucked into this alien landscape, which I interpret as adult life. This is now, you are in this different landscape, you have no one to guide you, you are now alone. When he's thrown out into this world, we see this huge mold of a person. This mold or this shape is kind of towering above the child. I'm kind of sick of calling him child. I think I'm going to call him Sam. I'm going to call him Sam for no reason. I'm just going to call him Sam. Okay, so Sam, this thing is towering above Sam. For reasons that I'll explain later, I interpret this mold as the mold of an adult that he doesn't fit in yet. He's not a fully fledged adult. He has not nearly enough life experiences. He then goes to his bottle, which I interpret as familiarity. He doesn't know anything in this alien world, so he reaches for something he's used to, which is the bottle. And when this happens, we meet our first real character besides Sam. At first, Sam does what I expect most of us normal people do, which we try to, we meet new people, we are nice to them, we want to see where things go. We're not immediately, like for example, Sam has food and this fire kind of showcases that he's also he needs food, he wants food. Sam, naturally being this innocent character, he gives him the bottle, and this fire totally melts it. And at first you think, oh, it's not the fire's fault, he didn't mean to do that, he just wanted a sip. But then Sam opens biscuits. I have no idea where he's getting these things, but just happening. So he opens these biscuits, and he obviously naturally wants to give the fire creature this biscuit. The fire creature happily takes it and he eats it, and obviously it burns in his hand. It almost totally burns away before it reaches his mouth, and he eats that, but he wants more. But this time, instead of waiting for Sam to give him something, he just grabs it, even though he knows now that if I grab this, it'll burn everything away. He doesn't care. He takes the full biscuit pack and he just devours it. And even after he takes the whole biscuit tray from Sam, he wants more. And this is where Sam realizes, no, this fire creature is bad for me, I need to leave. So he runs away and he hides under a blanket, which this fire creature burns as well, and then he keeps running. And then we get one of the many weird things to happen in the show, where water or like droplets come from the sky and land in huge bubbles on the ground. And at first Sam is kind of hesitant, he touches it, he sees some cool fish-like microbe-like creatures that are in there, and he reasons, okay, it's safe, and he pushes himself in there. He explores. He's a child. He doesn't know better, so he goes in there and he realizes it's quite calm, it's quite safe, and he has fun. And on top of that as well, he goes down again and he sees this fire creature trying to follow him in. And the fire creature cannot enter the bubble without harming himself. So this is kind of like a safe space for Sam, and he starts enjoying himself and he falls asleep. So you're now thinking, okay, what does all of this mean? I got you. So basically what this means is, as you go through life, you start realizing who you hang out with, who you don't hang out with. You basically start realizing, oh, this person is taking advantage of me. Initially it starts normal, you're just trying to be nice, but then they just keep taking. It's self-destructive. Your relationship is self-destructive. Staying with them is not good. So it could be interpreted in general like the fire is where you should stay away from, and he learns this now. He's basically learning things the hard way, and then he runs and he finds this safe bubble. He finds a place that is not toxic, it's not harmful. In life we learn these things. We meet people, we think, okay, if I'm nice to them, we'll just be nice to each other, we'll be friends, and then they just turn out to be leeches. They just turn out to be people that are not good for you, not good for you, not good for themselves. It's just better to leave those situations and find a safe space, find a safe bubble, basically. And this is what he learns. After this, we get quite an emotional scene. I didn't really expect it to be this emotional. So after he enjoyed himself thoroughly, it looks like it's the next morning almost, and he floats down from the bubble and he sees the fire creature now dead. I saw like some water droplets on it as well, so I'm assuming that it tried too hard to get into the bubble and it died. And then we don't just have the child being like, oh cool, this guy's dead now. This is him dealing with death for the first time. Not necessarily loss, even though it might not be someone that's close to you or that you really care about. It's death, and if you've never experienced death before, it's quite traumatizing. If you don't have anyone to walk you through that experience, it becomes quite traumatizing. And as you can see in this animation, in this scene, Sam is terrified. He starts crying, he's bawling his eyes out. It's quite emotional. This scene was done so well. It managed to make this moment with this creature that you don't really have a close connection with. It makes it a very somber. It switches moods very quickly. It's from this happy emotional moment of him being, free from this creature, to him dealing with this very new emotion, very new situation. The next part I found quite funny, because babies, when they cry, they very quickly lose that tantrum. They very quickly lose that the crying fit. So they can be bawling 1 second and then out of nowhere just be distracted by something else. So I quite like that. Even though it had quite a deeper meaning behind it, it still felt like it was a child, a baby going through these things. So it's quite a nice whimsical way of dealing with his heavy subject matter. So after he leaves this bubble and he's crying, he doesn't understand what happened, he sees this weird looking horse creature, and he immediately just stops crying. Okay, next thing to hold my attention now. This creature motions for the child to get on his back, and they friends. They set off, and Sam uses this creature like a horse basically, and they go through this alien landscape. There's some quite fun visuals, as you can see here. They go through clouds, they pick apples from trees. Sam pees in a creature's mouth. Wait. Yes, that actually happened. He did pee in a random creature's mouth, which is very weird. I refuse to believe there's symbolism in that. That's just a random thing that happened because anime. This creature, however, even though he's introduced in such a weird way, this creature becomes quite an important bit of symbolism throughout the rest of this film. We see a wonderful montage of him and his new friends going through this, like I said, this crazy landscape. We see them enjoying themselves. And then we deal with loss again. The earth kind of opens up and the horse creature gets sucked into this hole that opens up, and you can kind of see like a carnivorous, like, I don't know, monster at the bottom eating him up. This time I think Sam deals with it a bit better. They cut very quickly after his death, but we quickly see that the green creature is kind of holding him. So I kind of interpreted this as, you know, he went through this world, he made friends, the right friends, and they're giving him the emotional support he needs. He's now dealing with death, but he has people with him, or he has a person with him that can kind of help him process those emotions. It's a very sad event. It's a friend that he's gone through presumably quite a few hours of, you know, travel within this alien landscape, and he's losing him now, but he has another friend that can help him go through death. When previously he went through this very alien situation alone, having the right people and the right environment that he can deal with these things in a healthy way. Then we get another few moments of him going through the world with this creature. Sam is shown to have a dream of him and the green creature walking around the world, and behind the green creature there are trees growing in the background. Wherever the green creature walks in the dream, you just see trees growing. And at first I was very confused, and I thought, okay, this is just a cool whimsical dream that this child is having in this world. A bit of, you know, escapism from all this crazy stuff happening. But then after what happened, I kind of interpreted the scene as, when you have friends, you expect to have them forever. You expect to be with them forever. When you have loved ones in general, it's not just friends, it's loved ones in general. Whenever you have like people that you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with them, when you have them by your side, you kind of think nothing but green and growth and happiness will come with them. They're traveling the world together, they're having fun. We see him, like, see the corpse of this huge creature. He finds some wings that I think you saw earlier from another creature. So he uses these wings and he flies around with them. He doesn't actually fly, he just flaps around. We see him squeezing and playing around with the green creature. Another example of how, even though this is kind of a metaphor for going through life, the circle of life, adult life, I don't know, all these different themes, it still kind of showcases these themes through the vision of a child. And he's like, you know, playing and fiddling around, like, you know, how babies will just grab your face and your nose and just squeeze it and just play around with it. It's quite cute. But like all things in life, nothing could last forever. So we start seeing the green creature acting weird. He's not moving, he's just stationary on the ground. Sam is a bit confused, he doesn't know what's happening. But then one night the eyes of the green creature starts to glow, and he floats up from the ground, and attached to him is this beautiful glowing orb. And Sam obviously is perplexed, and he starts following him, like wondering, like, where's this guy going? He's yelling, he's like, in baby language, he's probably telling him to stop. We see the green creature fly towards this scary looking Venus flytrap, sunflower looking glowing flower thing, and you kind of can tell what's happening. This green creature is going towards his death, and obviously Sam refuses to believe that this is the thing that's happening. He chases after him. When he sees that this green creature is going in the mouth, this thing is actually drawing him in, and he has no control. Sam is so desperate that he actually manages to use those wings from earlier to fly, and you can hear how desperate Sam is to not let this inevitable thing happen. Eventually Sam even goes into the mouth with his friend. Sam almost gets to his friend. He sees him lying there like all frail, and it's kind of sad. It's very sad. You can kind of see it. The green creature was once so like bouncy and full of life, and now he's just so frail and just accepting his fate inside this other creature's mouth. And Sam is eventually just spat out like nothing, and he falls to the floor. The next scene, which is such a beautiful scene, we see many other glowing orbs fly into a field of these, or a group of these predatory flowers, or like they kind of reminded me of souls, or like the interpretation of souls all going towards their death. And then that's where I realized that all these scenes with him and his friends are kind of symbolizing that, you know, you have your fun, you enjoy yourself with your friends, but death is inevitable and you will lose people close to you. And maybe with other friends, maybe if you're lucky enough to have a lot of friends, maybe you could deal with, you know, loss with, you know, other people. After this beautiful sad scene, we fade to black, and then we get one of the most revealing scenes of this entire short film. We fade into a cart full of different items, different objects, but what immediately catches your eye is a wooden carving, a green wooden carving of your friend, the creature that you went through all these different experiences with, and also a carving of yourself with wings. And then you get to see who's pulling the cart. It's obviously an adult or very old, almost war-torn, very old version of Sam. And obviously there's a lot of other memorabilia in his cart that we don't know. It could be his other life experiences, and he's just pulling these things around, you know, reminding him of all these moments, all these events that happened, all these memories that kind of crafted him as a person. We then see everything come full circle when he stops and he sees the same huge iron statue that you see at the beginning. He hears the distant cries of a baby, and he uses like a grappling hook thing to kind of grapple himself up. He finds himself in the exact same room that he was in the beginning of the film. And then what I find kind of solidifies all my analysis is he takes the statues of all his life experiences and he hangs it up for the next child. And I kind of interpreted that as an adult, especially as someone who went through a perceivably rough adulthood like Sam. I think one of the most honorable, one of the best things to do would be to take those experiences and hand it over to the next generation so that they kind of have an easier go about it. They kind of don't have to deal with the raw, rough nature of the world. They kind of can get an introduction from their parents or from a mentor, from anyone. And I see this as Sam kind of helping the next generation, not like how he went to go through it, where he was kind of cast out into this alien world of adulthood without any guidance, and he had to learn everything the hard way. And another thing he does, which is quite funny, is he goes to like where the milk is in the room and he takes a drink himself. It's almost like, oh, I didn't get to drink from, even though he did kind of get his bottle, it's almost like, oh, I'm going to take a drink like because I couldn't have it before. So he takes a drink, but then he also gives the bottle to this child. So it's again him handing over experiences or handing over some comfort. And then we come to a very, very cathartic scene where he stands in front of the mold that I talked about before. Where once before the mold towered over him and he clearly didn't fit. Now it looks like it might fit him. And then he removes the mask that he's been wearing all this time. He's now gone through the whole cycle. He's gone through love, he's gone through loss, he's gone through the good and the bad. And it's kind of crafted him to the adult, the fully fledged adult that he is today. So he doesn't need to pretend anymore. He just removes the mask and he fits the mold. He's complete. So that being said, he goes through the mold and I presume he dies. I presume this is just the full cycle of life. After Sam goes into the mold, the clock goes from 0 all the way to between 4 and 5. And the big statue straightens up. Where Sam's clock went all the way to 0 quite early on in his childhood, giving him no hope and no time to adequately prepare for what was to come, what Sam does for this child gives him more time and therefore more hope for a better life. At least also he manages, before he dies, he manages to impart his experience on someone else. So basically we end where we began. Hopefully with less trauma. I hope you guys got something out of this video, and please go watch this. Go to GKids, watch everything. Most of the stuff that I watched of their catalog was like life-changing. It was amazing. Even if you don't enjoy the messages, you will enjoy the visuals. You'll be able to like immerse yourself in the world, and that's what art is. It teaches you lessons, it conveys the emotions of the creators, and it gives you some respite from the world that you live in. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you got something from this, and yeah, bye.